Hi there, it's Rob here again with another Tuesday video. And this is just like a little video diary of a session I did for a client last Saturday at NARM Studios. I said I had George at the desk, which I did, but I never actually got him on camera. So you'll hear me saying repeatedly, George is engineering, George is engineering. But unfortunately, you don't get to meet him, but maybe another time. But George Waters was doing the engineering for me, and he was setting up all the mics and everything. So yeah, we were just at NARM Studios. I'll let you know more about the track as and when it's okay to do that. But I just wanted you to see a bit of a diary in the life of Rob recording at NARM, really, from showing up and all the various bits in between the studio and blah, blah, blah. But as I say, you don't get to hear any music. And actually, we got so busy tracking, I didn't even have time to put it up on the stand, the camera on the stand and film anything, because I was just keeping on. So I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, it was great fun. And here's just a little video diary of the session. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so here I am in the Robmobile. Just arrived at NARM Studios, which is over there. I've got a car full of stuff, as you can see, very neatly packed. And I've also brought the LM drum as well, because I might use some of that. But it's mostly going to be acoustic kit, I think. So yeah, here I am, arrived, ready to go. So let's go in the studio, meet up with George, who's going to be engineering, and let's see how today goes. Okay, so here we are, just bringing the gear in. Hard case, bringing all the drums here safely, as ever. Some Vulcan cymbals there, the LM drum, which you may or may not use, but it's good to have it on the Sessione. And yeah, I'm just sort of setting up, really. Just thought I'd grab a bit before we get all the mics on it. So definitely the Hitmaker snare drum, that's just a must. Tuning quite high at the moment. I'm not sure it's going to stay there that high for the session. Let's see where it is. It's sort of, it's quite high. Needs a bit of tuning, but I'll probably tune it down for the session. And on the 22-inch bass drum, we've got a 12 and a 14 floor tom. So that's where we're starting now. What goes up on this rod here, this arm, is in debate at the moment. It's up in the air because I've brought the Diddy 8-inch there, which I love. I love that little tom. And I've also got the 10. Now at some point, those two might end up, more hard cases of course, they might end up on here. So I might have 8 here, and 10 here, and then the 14. I don't know. I've just got a feeling listening to the tracks that I might need the cut of an 8 and a 10. Or the 8 could be an overdub, possibly. I want to track just with 3 rack toms, well, 2 rack toms and 1 floor to start with, and we'll sort of take it from there. But this is us inside the studio, just getting ready for the session. George is upstairs prepping things. I better finish setting up so we can put the mics on the kit, and I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, as you can hear, the kettle is on. Here's some discs from various artists that recorded at NARM. There we go. That's Katie Tunstall, obviously. Just sold a few records there. It's not bad going, is it? And these guys have recorded 2 albums worth of drums here, I think. Royal Blood, and then they go elsewhere to track everything else or whatever, but the drums are always done here. And any drummers out there looking for a good room to track drums, obviously this is the place. So here is the control room. We're just literally setting up, so nothing to hear or see as yet, and you won't hear anything anyway because it's as I say, it's a client's project. But here we are, George is downstairs setting things up. There's our Elvis mic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. So yeah, so get the kettle on. I'll get my vibe table up and running, which is a whole other thing, which I'll get to in a minute. And yeah, the next time I see you, probably be looking at the vibe table. Okay, so here's my vibe table for the day. I like to have things around me as I'm tracking drums that, kind of give me a certain spirit and a certain feel, a certain vibe, certain energy. And we've got Noi album there. So this is the vinyl. Actually, let's just go around what we got. Then we got George Harrison We've got Robbie the Robot back there. We've got Ringo Starr, and they're two characters from the Yellow Submarine Beatles film. I've got John and Paul somewhere, but I don't know where they are. There's Crow from Mystery Science Theatre. If you don't know what that is, message me and I'll tell you. But it's a brilliant American show that I caught back on the road in 1996 when I was touring with Modern English. I found it on the Sci-Fi Channel or Comedy, one of them, and it was just amazing. It's never shown in England, but you can get on some of them on Netflix. And there's Scully, of course. And we can't have Scully without a Mulder, who's here. He's guarding the giant behind him, which is Gary Newman on the Tubeway Army album Replicas. Still one of the best covers of all time, and that still freaks me out. I love it. Such a cool look. And then on the vinyl here, we've got Max Roach, Deeds Not Words, which I bought last year while I can't think where I was now, but I found a really good vinyl store while I was on tour with Lorena McKinnon. The ambient classic, Talk Spirit of Eden. Couldn't find Laughing Stock because that's even more ambient. But that's a great record. We've got 7-inch here of Prince, Mountains. And there's Lisa Coleman. Very good look. I always fancied Lisa. With the B-side, Alexa de Paris, which is great, with Sheila E. on drums. Jane Weaver album, and another ambient classic for me. I love this. Fenella. I love that. And then Pablo's Eye. These are guys who have become good friends of mine. I found this album last year, and I always think good records and music and things find you when you need them, and I certainly needed this in my life last summer. The light, well, I can't read it from there. The light was sharp, our eyes were closed. If you don't know it, check it. And all of these albums, if you don't know them, check them out. And of course, if I flip this round, you'll see our man Prince on the other side. There's Mountains. Just down in one of the rooms, there's my touring flight case that I use with Susie and Lorena, full of stuff. Remo heads. Wee Davis and Johnny have dealt with this flight case many a time. Into the mic cupboard and all that kind of business. That's where all the technical stuff happens. And that's a Hoover. And there's my bass drum. See, there's the damage on that Tama Star bass drum. Shame, but hey, sounds great. Good fun having that kit. I love the colour anyway. It's just funky. Right, let's go into the main room. Some spare cymbals, ride cymbals. I don't know if I'm going to use any rides today on this track actually. I just need to get a 16-inch crash over here, which I will do, but I like to get it out of the way for the engineers to get all their mic stands in and stuff, because it's on a boom, this crash, which is actually here. So I can tuck it in. So I think it's more important they get their gear in. I like to think I'm an engineer's best friend. So, you know, it just means that maybe that's a tip for you drummers. Sometimes just leave your stands out until they've got the mics in. Though a lot of the times they work around you, of course. But, I've just noticed we need a lead into that hi-hat mic there. Otherwise, that's not going to pick up very much. But we're still setting things up. We're not completely ready as yet, but I've got the 10 on the bass drum, 10 and 12 on the 22-inch bass drum. We've got the snare drum up there. I need to do some tuning in a second. I've got my usual combination of the 14-inch Legend hats on the top, and on the bottom is the 14-inch, what they call Dark Etnas. Dark Masters. Sorry, Dark Etnas, what am I talking about? Let's actually show you that. There he is. Okay, that's what's on the bottom. So George, who you'll meet in a second, he's decided to not mic the shell, which is fine. That's the thing I like to do though. I'm a bit guilty of always micing the shell. I can't help it, I love it. So there's our setup, the old Remo White Emperors on the top. Always doing a good job for me, those things. Always work really well. As I say, I'm not sure if I'm going to use a ride cymbal yet, but it's on there. I might end up putting a crash or an effect cymbal on there at some point. And that is a killer vintage 50s Vulcan, which is actually a ride, but I use it as a crash and it's epic. Used that the other day at Real World and with Little Men. And here's the White Master effects. And as I say, I still have to put the Dark Master, the 18-inch Dark Master crash in, but I will do. There's the kit. And yeah, just a few more things to mic up and we'll be there. But it's worth taking the time to get good sound and everything, but just a few leads missing on some of the equipment there, and there. So still a few things, but you know, I'm in no hurry today, and nor's George. We're taking it nice and easy. Going to be tracking for, oh, there's some of the music for a client. I'll just turn that down not to give the game away. There we go. It's a secret who this is for. Okay, so that's the setup. There'll be a few more things added, and I'll try and get a few clips of me recording takes and stuff. But you know, it's more about getting the job done. And if I can get some social media stuff in at the same time, it's good, but it's all about, you know, the client and getting the track tracked. Okay, so yeah, we'll get on with connecting everything up, and we'll be back shortly. Okay, so everything is now mic'd up, and we've done a sound check. Everything's sounding nice. And I've got that Vistalite Tivoli snare drum on there, Ludwig, 1977, 76, something like that. And I'm starting with some snare rolls, military type vibes to go on this track. And I think I'm going to be layering some drum tracks, I've been thinking. So, you know, some takes with bass drum, some without, because we don't want too many flams and things like that going on. So we'll be thinking about what we track when we track it. When I say we, I mean me. I'm going to have to think about that as I'm going. So, yeah, that's the cymbal, same as we said before. Nothing's really changed. I've sort of been playing along to the tracks, and I think I will be using a ride here and there. That'll be this 22-inch Etna, which is a beauty. And I changed some of the crashes up. I changed the Dark Master for the 18-inch Etna over there, because that Etna and this vintage 50s Vulcan cymbal work really well together. And I say Vulcan, but they're all Vulcan, aren't they? Live long and prosper. So yeah, so it's going to be fun. It's hard to get around there. I've got a little crunch mic over there. The Neumann wannabe over there. Yeah, and it's sounding great. Sounding characterful, which is what I'm looking for. So I can't say too much about the project as yet. Let's see if we can get behind the kit without taking out all the stands or me falling over at the same time, which would make for a good video. Oh, there we go. Squeezed it. Let's get to the back of the engine room. Here we go. So this is it. This is the bird's eye drum seat view, if you like, of what goes on. So yeah, nice. Looking forward to it. I'm not singing, obviously that's just talk back, but hey, maybe I should. Though saying that, on the Littleman session the other day, I did do some BVs, so check it out. Certain things I can do, certain things I definitely can't do, singing wise. Yeah, this drum's a beauty. I recorded him, if you watch my channel, you'll know that I was using this at Real World a couple of weeks ago. It sounded fat. It's tuned up really high at the moment for that military kind of vibe. And let's just see where we're at. So we've got this kind of vibe. And yeah, so that's where we're at. Lovely. Beautiful. Love the way this cymbal opens out. And Vulcan made me a special one for the Susie tour as well, which was a brilliant finish. This is the White Master, and he's a beauty, and he opens up, well, so lovely as you just heard. But yeah, the other one for Susie was a bit heavier than this, a bit thicker. As I say, it was a brilliant finish. I've got that somewhere. It's not on this session though, and that's killer as well. The two together on a setup, oh, wonderful. So there you go, a little look at the session. And you saw I was using the DW collectors, which suited perfectly for the sort of material we were doing. And the Tivoli snare drum, the 14x5 Vistalite, you know, red. What is it? Red, orange, and yellow. Sometimes I look at it and go, ooh. And other days I look at it and go, that's really beautiful drum. It's kind of weird, but it sounds awesome, and it sounded great in that marching vibe. And the other snare you saw on the deck was the 14x8, I think, DW, what I call the Hitmaker snare drum, because it's on nearly everything that I record, and it just sounds wicked, tuned up mid or down, wherever I tune it, it sounds great. With moon gel on it, or with just, you know, some transparent heads on the top just to deaden the sound a bit, or whatever I use, you know, dead heads and things, it always just sounds fantastic. So as I say, you never got to see George, but never mind, at least you got to hear about this wonderful character. So we'll finish it there. It's just a little video diary. When I can talk more about the material and the release, I will obviously come back and do that. But it was a great session, and yeah, tracking, some of it was really crazy, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it, and indeed the music itself, because it's very original and very different. Very cool. So as ever, thanks for liking, sharing and subscribing. If you haven't liked or shared or subscribed, please do it now. The channel is growing bit by bit every year. The numbers are going up. So let's try and send them up a bit faster. That'd be great. And also, if there's any comments you want to make on the studio or my vibe table or the records on my vibe table, then please leave some comments down below and I'll get back to you. You'll notice that I'm slowly managing to get back to a few more people now, because so many comments come in and sometimes I leave them a bit longer than I should. So I'm just getting back to answering them. So apologies if it's been a bit of a while getting back to you if you've commented on a short or on one of the videos. So the sun is out, it's a lovely day. I've got to go to the studio later and I've got a gig tonight. So I'm keeping busy. Got a bit of a dodgy tummy at the moment as well, but hey, it's rock and roll. What are you gonna do? I'm just gonna keep going. So wherever you are, I hope you're well. Take care, and I'll see you on the next video.